Welcome back, valued viewers. Here we are again in Aviary Attorney with JayJay Falcon and Sparrowson on our continuing adventures to try and prove the innocence of the Dame Cateline or not, because I'm not sure whether she did it or not. We don't know. I don't even know. This is our office down here, Aviary Attorney's office, Falcon's office. We've got the La Conciergerie, which is up here, which is a prison. We've got Chateau Crinerie, which is the chateau of the lion person. We've got Studio de Robinho, which is the photographer's studio. And we have the Palais de Justice, which is where I think we haven't been to so far. So I think that's where we're going now. It's January the 6th. We're running out of time. Look at this place. Lovely engraving. This, okay, there we are. Falcon, this guy, and Sparrowson, this guy, our birds, stand inside the marble portico of the Palais de Justice, awaiting the opening of the Tribunal or de Grande Instance. There's some words going on today. Falcon, not saying much. Are you nervous, Falcon? Says Sparrowson. What are we? Are we yes, we know, or are we just silent? What sort of person are we? We are verbose. Yes, we are nervous. Of course I'm nervous. We're woefully underprepared for this case, my good Sparrowson. 2 days. We've only had 2 days to prepare. How are we expected to get anything done in that time frame? Calm your feathers, Falcon. Cool your jets. We can do this. A bit of pacing. It's Dame Cateline herself. And this guy, his name is Falk, something like that. Monsieur Falcon. Petit Sparrowson. There she's very French. Is there anything you need me to do? Well, just telling us the truth would be helpful. No. We've got a handle on things. Falcon was just telling me how confident he was feeling about the case. That's wonderful, she says. I just know you two will pull through. Let's move you along, fellas. Okay, so he's turned up, is he? I'll be watching from inside. Do your best for me, Monsieur Falcon. We will. She seems very sanguine for someone who might be going down for murder. Sparrowson says, are we ready? Yeah, he says in a casual, weirdly casual way. We're ready. Oh, hello. We got a rabbit. We've got Judge Maxime. What sort of bird is that? Is that a heron? Are you a heron? All right, settle down, everyone. Settle down. Is everybody here? There's a lot of music going on today. Let's knock down the music being a bit much. JayJay Falcon present. La défense, c'est prêt, monsieur. Let's have a look. Rupert Rabbington, is that what we're going with? Yes. Present. The ready is prosecution, Your Honour. The ready is prosecution, Your Honour. Okay, it's going to be difficult. Oh darn, that's not it. Oh gosh, where are my notes? So we've got a literal nervous rabbit as the prosecution. Ha! I knew it, said Sparrowson. Knew what? Rupert and I went to Paris Law School together. He was in all of my classes. I went to law school, but not in Paris. I was in Canterbury. Was he smart? No. He always scored the second worst marks in the class. Okay, if we can win, we can win. I like your cane. That's nice. I can only assume that he bumbled through the final exams on the luck of his 2 rabbit's feet. He's got rabbit's feet. Unless he's improved considerably, you might already have this trial in the bag. Falcon says, that's good to know. But say, Sparrowson, if Rupert scored the second lowest marks in the class, then who scored the lowest? Dun, dun, dun. Was it you, Sparrowson? Was it you? I choose to exercise my right to not self-incriminate, says Sparrowson, using a principle from American law in Paris, which is a different jurisdiction entirely. Robertson says, here it is. The prosecution is ready, Your Honour. And we've got this heron. Are the jury all present? What have we got here? All present and accounted for, Your Honour, says Judge Cornel. Why are you a judge? Is this the jury? If it's a jury, why are you judges? I do not know. This is Paris. Could be anything. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've only got 8. It's all very confusing to me. Very confusing. But France is a different legal system from the UK, so it could be almost anything. Sparrowson, hey Falcon, I thought there were only 6 members of the jury for cases like this. Why do I count 8? I thought there's normally 12. Why do I only count 8? It's all very confusing. Oh, those 2 birds with the funny hats. They've all got funny hats. These ones are assesseurs. the associate judges. Well, okay, we're learning some stuff today. Judge Maxine, everything seems to be in order, so let us begin. The court is now in session for the trial of Dame Cateline Demieux. Prosecution, please. Call your first witness to the stand. Robert, oh gosh, are we there already? Okay. I choose to call the officer in charge of the murder investigation, Inspector Volerty, to the witness stand. Inspector Volerty, please approach the stand and recite the oath. There's a whole trial going on. We've got a cockerel, one-eyed cockerel. Voler, as you will, Your Honor, I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Monsieur, no, Inspector, please state your name and occupation for the record. Oui. My name is Inspector Juste Volerty. I am a servant to the law, a scourge of the gutter rats that plague this city. I like this guy already. I have enforced the law for over 20 years, and I shall continue until I bring the infamous Viridian killer to justice. Viridian, isn't that red? Or is it green? Green. Viridian is an oxide of copper. Okay. My path begins 18 years ago. It's a bit like hello, hello. Let's stick to the questions. Can we, Inspector? Jesus Christ, man. You want an Oscar? D'accord, Your Honor. Okay, great. I was hoping we would get one of those bumbling, cuddly officers, but instead we're stuck with a lawful goody two-shoes. I bet this guy would turn in his own mother for tuppence halfpenny if he saw her littering. So, Inspector, says Rubbington. God, this music's a bit much. Son says. So, Inspector, is it true that you are the lead investigator on this case? Ah oui, c'est vrai. I was also among the first to arrive at the scene of the crime. Oh, first to arrive. It was you. You done it. Where's your hand? I bet it's in his sleeve. Then perhaps you could walk us through what you witnessed upon your arrival. Absolument. Just after 7:30, we were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid of Baron Roguil. I still don't know how to say that. At the scene of the crime, we found Dame Cateline Demieux. She was standing over the corpse of Monsieur Grenouille with his blood on her paws. See, we should have had a lot more access to this guy before this case started, because we should have known this evidence is going to come forward. Anyway, Rabington, well, that sounds like an open and shut case. Really? Okay, cool. Thanks. The prosecution rests, in my humble opinion. No more questions, Your Honor. Jesus, you're terrible. You are terrible. Well, Falcon says, Jesus Christ. Bloody balls. Nobody told me about that detail. That's what disclosure's for. Keep it together, Falcon. You're about to be given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness, he says knowingly to us generally. That's your opportunity to find flaws in the inspector's testimony. He hasn't made any testimony yet. Of course, I know this. Now, you may begin your cross-examination on Monsieur Falcon. Cross-examination. Cross-examine the witness to find flaws in his testimony. Oh, we will. Select a key phase that you find suspicious, and Falcon will press the witness for further information. Ask the right questions to bring the truth to light. Avoid pressing for pointless details. The judge and jury don't like having their time wasted. Select a statement to question. He hasn't made any statements. We were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid. Was that true? Of Baron Roguil. At the scene of the crime, we found Dame Cateline. She was standing over the sliced open corpse of Monsieur Grenouille with blood on her paws. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things to look at. What do we think is the most important? It keeps coming back to this housemaid, and she was in the room and she stole the thing, and she's stolen other stuff. Well, let's have a little look. Inspector, you say you were alerted to the scene by Baron Roguil's housemaid. That is correct. Why would he know her name? Why would he care about her name? Let's ask anyway. What was her name? The housemaid's name was Cateline Dot. We found her running from Chateau Crènerie with tears in her eyes. Cateline. That was the thieving giraffe lady, wasn't it? Yes. We questioned her extensively, but we didn't find anything implicative. As far as the police are concerned, Cateline Dot is not a suspect. She's more suspicious every time. She's a giraffe as well. She's tall. She might be smoking a cigar in a fountain. There's a giraffe smoking a cigar in a fountain. Says Falcon. Do you have another question about the housemaid? Yes. So, what is this question? Oh, yeah. Well, We know her name. Could she have been the murderer? Could the housemaid have been the murderer is the question we'd like to know. I object. You can't go around accusing people of murder willy-nilly. I think you can in a court. That's the kind of principle or the point of a court. I must agree. I saw and heard nothing that made me suspect the housemaid, no motive, no means. If he's objecting, the rabbit, then he's objecting to the judge or making a question to the judge, and the judge should make a decision. And the judge has obviously just gone to sleep or gone away somewhere. And now we've got this witness just jumping in. I must agree. I saw and heard nothing that made me suspect the housemaid, no motive, no means. Falcon, do you have any reason to suspect that the housemaid was a murderer? Hold on, dude. Your prosecution. This is cross-examination by the defence. Why are you speaking? You sit yourself down, call your jets, buddy, and you wait your turn. It's like some argument going on between them. So why are you jumping in? Just call your jets, buddy. Why are we answering him? Jesus Christ. Talk to the judge and say, my lord, why is the prosecution interrupting at this point? But we're going to have to answer. Falcon, do you have any reason to suspect that a housemaid was a murderer? Why are you cross-examining me? Jesus Christ, this is all getting out of hand. I do, but why would I tell you this? Oh my God, so confusing. Falcon, I do. You see, the housemaid may have. We don't know. This is why you don't get cross-examined by the prosecution in the middle of a cross-examination of the witness. Jesus Christ, on a bike. Now you're speaking. Oh my God. These people have no idea about how law works. Now you're just speculating. Judge. Now you're talking to the judge. Right. Judge Maxine. Monsieur Falcon, please don't make serious accusations if you don't have any evidence. Oh, you've woken up, have you? Nice to hear from you. Jesus Christ. They're stalling. What a buffoon. You've lost a little favour with the jury. This is disastrous. This is right. Do you have another question about the housemaid? Yes. We're going to carry on with this line. What was her name? We know her name. The housemaid's name was Cateline. We found her running from Cateline with tears in her eyes. Cateline. How's the thieving giraffe lady? We questioned her. Yeah, we know this. Implicative. Not a suspect. No. Okay. Select another statement. That's the housemaid. Scene of the crime. Sliced open course. Blood on her paws. Let's start from the top, work down. Falcon, Inspector, you say you found Dame Cateline at the scene of the crime. This is correct. The suspect was standing right beside the victim's body. Let's start with, did you find anything out of the ordinary in the garden? Out of the ordinary, apart from a dead frog? Missing garden tools, broken fences, that sort of thing. All this should have been done ages ago. Well, we've only had the case for 3 days. Definitely not. We combed the garden, it came up empty. Nothing but marble horse statues and properly trimmed grass. That seems pretty definitive, apart from the classic wet cigar. What are we doing with these? We haven't. We've collected them. We can't examine them though. Right click, left click, nothing. We've collected all this stuff and not done anything with it. All right. We've got 19 francs. We've got some pictures. A delusional artist and photographer. Someone described Robitio with the H word. That's right, another one. H. Don't know. Hack, maybe? No. Judge Maxine, longest serving judges in France. Known for being attentive and even-handed. Sort of. Rabington, stuttering and jumpy prosecutor who bumbles through cases with nothing but sheer dumb luck, like our good selves. Juste Volerty, grumpy war veteran turned police inspector. Strict and law-abiding as they come, it was him. He'd done it. This evidence is rubbish. Do you have any other question? Have another question about the scene of the crime. Yeah, we've got to keep probing at something. When you say standing right beside, would you say the two were less than 1 metre away? I would say around 3 feet, which is about 1 metre. He's using imperial, he's using metric. Feet, I'm not familiar with the British measurements. How many feet are in a metre? About 3. Well, there are 12 inches in a foot and 2.5 centimetres to an inch. I need to go in the complicated way, but okay. Well, I wait. I need a pen and paper. Okay. 12 inches to a foot. That's plain. It was based on the length of King George's foot. It was 12 inches. They literally measured his foot, as far as I understand. And the difference between a size 12 shoe and a size 11 shoe is the length of one barley corn. This is just random foot facts that I know. Plain silly. Monsieur Falcon, is this going anywhere? Yeah, just cool your jets, buddy. Monsieur, the metric system is going towards a unified system of measurement for the entire world. Assuming those stubborn-ass Americans don't drop the ball, that is. Yeah, at least said, soon suspended. I meant for the trial. Does this line of questioning have any purpose in the context of the trial? Not in any form whatsoever, Your Honour. Jesus Christ. Stop wasting our time. Oh my God, this trial's a farce. Guilty for sure. Hang them. You've lost a little favour with you. We're not getting anywhere with this. Do you have another question about the scene of the crowd? No. No, it's not going well. Let's look at the last statements. The sliced open corpse. I would like to ask about the corpse of Monsieur Grenouille. Go on then. What was the cause of death? God, we should have known this days ago. What was Monsieur Grenouille's cause of death? You're asking this in court. Oh, I can't even. That was immediately obvious when I arrived on the scene. Monsieur Grenouille had a gaping slash from shoulder to thigh. You know, do you think that would have been useful for us to know earlier? Maybe it was a stab wound. Maybe he got shot. Maybe he fell off something. Blood was everywhere. I spoke with the coroner. He was in agreeance. That's a good word. The frog died from blood loss directly caused by the open wound. Well, we have an agreeance. So he died from blood loss caused by the open wound, but we don't know what caused the open wound. Do we now? No, I see. I suppose there's no chance of arguing that this was an unrelated injury. What? Sparrowson. Just back there. Do you have another question about the corpse or Monsieur Grenouille? Yeah, we're going to get in trouble, but we've got to find out stuff. I can't believe we're trying to find out stuff in court. We should have found out this weeks ago. Inspector, could you describe the cut on Monsieur Grenouille's corpse? Certainement. It was a single vertical slash. It was a fine and deep cut, the sort you would expect to see from a sharpened sabre or a surgeon's knife. Two completely different things. Completely different. One's a full-length sword, one's a scalpel. Or a cat's claw, in fact. Robinson jumps up in the middle of cross-examination, an examination where he shouldn't be allowed to talk anyway. Certainly, says does everyone just jump in? Can the audience jump in as well? Oh, look, he's getting worried. Wait. You say a sabre or knife could have inflicted the wound. Isn't this a line of investigation that's worth pursuing? Earlier, yes, he would have been. Don't be daft, Falcon. Did you see or hear anything about a knife or sword at the crime scene? No, we couldn't find anything either. No. Well, no, I didn't, but it's a possibility, is it not? Without evidence, it's pretty unlikely possible. Why are you two talking together in the middle of a cross-examination? I've never seen the like. Let's stick to the facts. let's stick to something. Do you have another question about the corpse of Monsieur Grenouille? I mean, yeah. Never mind. Okay. Never mind. I have no more questions about the corpse. Select a statement. We're not doing well here. We're doing badly. But it's so strange how they're doing this. I've never seen the like. Not in an American legal system or a UK legal system or even a French legal system. It's not related to any of it. Inspector, you say Dame Cateline had blood on her paws. Correct. Blood clung to her fur like guilt to a convict. He loves it. Whose blood was it? How does he know? This is before the day of DNA. Whose blood was it? Ha! What a question. It was Monsieur Grenouille's, of course. How can you be so sure? Object to the judge. I object. This line of questioning is absurd. So is this story. There's only one murder victim that night, Falcon. The blood on Dame Cateline's paws could only belong to one person. Monsieur Grenouille. Judge. See, now you're talking to the judge. Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. This is such a strange courtroom. It's like a combination of American law and French law and made up stuff. Because you wouldn't talk to a judge in the UK. You wouldn't talk to a judge like this. You wouldn't shout objection at any point. So it's very strange to me. Anyway, Judge, Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. Judge says, I'm afraid the prosecution may have a point, Monsieur Falcon. Do you have any reason to suspect the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Gros? These people seem incredibly time short and want this trial to be incredibly fast. And it's a murder trial. Murder trials go on for months and months. So all this, like, you've got 5 seconds to ask your questions. Don't waste our time. Don't ask anything. It's kind of absurd. It's a murder trial. I'll ask as many questions as I like. I'll ask 1,000 questions. And just chill, would you? Because I'm going to ask loads of questions. All these people seem so impatient. Weirdly. Do you have any reason to suspect the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Grenouille? I mean, I've got to say I do, don't I? Because, but then they're going to say what? And I'm going to say, I don't know. I love it. I do, Your Honour. Yeah, go on then. Actually, I've more than suspicion. I've evidence that the blood on Dame Cateline's paws had nothing to do with the murder. This is foolish time wasting. Have you got somewhere else to be? Is that the problem? Do you have to be somewhere? Have you got a pocket watch that you need to go down some hole with Alice? This is foolish time wasting, Falcon. If the blood on Dame Cateline's paws didn't come from the victim, then where did the blood come from? A good question. The red herring. The bloody steak, of course it was. The bloody steak that she ate without the cutlery. Ah, bien sûr. C'est vrai. That's basically the only French I know. We're going with that. On the evening of the murder, Dame Cateline. It's a bloody rustic. I love this. Is this true, Monsieur Remington? How does he know? Well, in a manner of speaking, I suppose steak may have been on the menu. Then, Inspector, would you acknowledge the possibility that the blood on the lady's paws did not belong to the victim but to the steak? Well, don't answer that, Inspector. Hold on, dude. Hold on. This is cross-examination of my witness. You can't just jump in and say he's not allowed to answer questions. But okay, this is like a freestyle law, as far as I can understand. It's a possibility. Any answers anyway? Brilliant. Resume? I don't know why it's done it. Resume, okay. It's a possibility. No, says the rabbit. Intriguing. Pretty convincing, says the jury out of context. And they wouldn't be allowed to just shout things. You gained a little favour with the jury. Brilliant. Okay, nice. So, Inspector Volerty, yeah. Is it possible that you arrested an innocent bystander simply for being a messy eater because there's no cutlery? Now, hold on just 1 minute. This guy, every single time I ask a question, he's jumping in. I've got to talk to the judge about this. This would be seriously an issue in a court. Now, hold on for just 1 minute, Falcon. You are overlooking something quite crucial. Dame Cateline is an elegant bourgeois kitten. She's from the bourgeoisie. She was no doubt brought up with flawless etiquette and in perfect table manners. Ah, bien sûr. At the banquet, she would have eaten the steak with a fork in her left hand and a knife in her right hand. Hold on. Knife in right hand. Yes. Just like any proper civilized animal. Oh, the irony. How could she have possibly gotten blood on her paws with such good manners? Ah, that is a good question, or at least it would be at any ordinary dinner banquet. But as it happened, something was missing from that particular banquet, something that forced Dame Cateline to scarf down a steak with her bare hands at the dinner table. Okay. And that is the missing cutlery. Dame Cateline was forced to eat steak with her paws because the silverware of the household had been previously stolen. Stolen? I don't recall any mention of that in the police report. We weren't aware of anything missing from the Rogiel residence when we performed the initial investigation. But as it happened, Baron Rogiel approached us about this very subject last night. Oh, it is about. Oh, what a twist. Oh, says Hippo Boy. What's this? Emu. We've got Ram. We've got a Hippo. What's this guy? Like a Beagle? What's that? Is that Folk guy? What is that? Is that... Well, that's Puffin? Is that a puffin? Are you a seal? Is that some sort of eagle? Who knows? What is the meaning of all this? What? Bloody steak, misplaced silverware? Inspector, was your investigation so lax you overlooked these basic facts in your initial report? Lax? My investigation judge, I assure you, I am the most thorough investigative officer on the force. Then it is amazing that the Parisian police managed to solve any crimes at all, Judge Maxine says in a snarky, sarcastic way. Says Sparrowson. Oh dear, says Robert. I'll be on your way, Inspector. Perhaps do a little inspecting for your own. Oh, he's not happy about this. Fine. Bitches. Okay, so be it. Messieurs, until next time. Oh no, okay, now we're going prosecution. Prosecution, I trust your next witness is ready. Yes, of course, Your Honor. Call upon, let's see, Monsieur Robinho, the photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder. Monsieur Rob, please approach the stand and recite the oath. And here we are, this guy. How does it go? I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. It's a little cliche, to be perfectly honest. Could the witness please introduce himself for the court record? Now we've got a stenographer, have we? As if anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me. I like it already. I am the great Monsieur Robinho, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's picture, I capture their very essence. Je suis l'artiste. Tu es une pipe. You are a pipe. Who was that? Was that Magritte who wrote This is a pipe? And it wasn't a pipe? Or was it a pipe? Hold on. Ah, yes, so we have René Magritte and The Treachery of Images, 1929. This is not a pipe. And I'll be like, kind of does look like a pipe, my friend. Kind of does look like a pipe. But he says it's not a pipe. I say it looks like a pipe. If something that looks like a pipe and isn't a pipe, is it a pipe? That's what I ask myself. When is a pipe not a pipe? When it's not a pipe. But back to our story with Robinho. I don't just take people's pictures, I capture their very essence. Je suis l'artiste. You are a pipe. Okay. You may have seen my works in hip magazines. Hips, that's a term, came out later. Le branche or c'est chouette? Le branche, c'est chouette. Chouette. I think these are jokes, but I don't understand them. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, le branche means branch, and so chouette means an owl. I can send you tweets if you like. I don't know why you're saying the owl, though. Maybe it's Facebook or Twitter, Instagram. The owl might be Twitter. Do not know. If you know, let me know in the comments. What is occurring with these jokes? What on earth is a tweet? You should know you're a bird. Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon. It's the 19th century. Get with the times already. That's right. Yes. Your works are very, impressive, Monsieur Robinho, but let's get down to business. Could you tell us your activities on the night of the murder? Very well. I was hired by Baron Rogil to capture the evening's entertainment or something. I arrived at 7 in the evening, I pointed my camera and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Did you? I thought you went to the room upstairs and took a photograph of the clock. But okay. Then I billed Baron Rogil and left, like a true artist. And with regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph? I thought you might ask. I brought a copy so that you could all see for yourselves. Oh, very good. Let's take a closer look. Yes indeed. My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? Let's see, who do we have here? We have the maid. We have what's his name? Purloin or something? And we have the lion, Baron Rogil. Now we've got the clock who's back with the hands. And then this is what, 7:30? We've got the two pictures up here. But the hands are back. How very, very curious. Curious. Did she have a thing? Huh? And he's got a cigar. Il fume. Okay. In the middle we see Baron Rogil and Lion who hosts the event. Yes, we do. On the left, we see Pertois Demieux, the father of the defendant, Dame Cateline. And finally, we see the housemaid, Cateline, a suspect, may have snuck into the picture uninvited. That's not how photographs worked back in the day. You set them up. They had long exposure times, at least 20-second exposure times. So you wouldn't have someone just wandering in. This would be set up, and then you've got to stand still for 20 seconds. But anyway, let's not get ourselves involved with facts and reality. As you can see, two people are clearly absent from the photograph. There's more than two people absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Grenouille. The second is the defendant, Dame Cateline Demieux. Quite suspicious, don't you agree? Just a moment, Monsieur Remington, this proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean they were in the garden together at that point. Hold your horses, Falcon. I'm not done yet. The prosecution may continue. It's going to anyway. Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock with the time set at 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Volerty told us earlier, that was the exact time the murder took place. Well, I'm worried about where the hands came from. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Dame Cateline herself. Hey, Falcon, that photograph doesn't seem right. It looks different to the one we borrowed from Robinho's studio. I see it too. Our photograph shows Cateline, Dame Cateline, and Seigneur Pertois. But Monsieur Robinho's photo shows Baron Roguil, where Dame Cateline should be standing. If we assume that only one photograph was taken, then this demonstrates that one of the photographs must have been edited in some way. I think it's a bit early for Photoshop. You should just slam the evidence down, be like, bam, inconsistency, this whole courtroom is out of order, case closed. Do it. Do it. I can't do that. Well, I suppose you could be a little more delicate with your words. No, I mean, I can't do that because our evidence was illegally obtained. Oh, yeah, I don't think that would matter in 19th century France. I don't think that would matter. It would in America. You see what I mean? It's like a combination of American law and French law and sort of made up stuff. If we were to present it, Monsieur Robinho would ask how we acquired it, and the whole trial could derail. If we were in 21st century America, yes, but we're not. In a worst case scenario, I could lose my legal license and we would be arrested for theft. Possibly this could happen, yes. Maybe that as well. Possibly. Oh, well, we don't want that. No, we don't. I should tread lightly. Your Honour, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Okay, yes. Very well, the defence may proceed. Normally the prosecution would have to finish there, but okay. So many issues here. It is a waste of time if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence. Yes, indeed. Until we get to Photoshop. Select a statement to question. Look at this guy. Look at this chancer. I arrived at 7 p.m. Okay. I set up my camera. Captured the beauty of the evening's events in one magnificent photograph. Build. Why is build a thing? Okay, let's start with 7 p.m. Monsieur Robinho, you say you arrived at 7 o'clock. Give or take a couple of minutes? Well, yes. How do you know? How do you know that you arrived at 7? I looked at my pocket watch. Well, the clock in my house read 6:45 when I left, and the walk to Chateau Crinery was about 15 minutes. I didn't claim to be a flawless timekeeper, but I am a professional. I stick to an appointment. Do you have another question about Robinho's time of arrival? No. Statement to continue, camera. I would like to ask about the camera itself. Go on. How exactly does it work? Well, it's essentially a box with a piece of film, light-sensitive film, at the back of the camera. You open up an aperture at the front, which can be just a simple hole, and the light travels through the hole, hits the sensitive film at the back, and an image is developed once you put the film into developing fluid. It's essentially silver nitrate. But there we go. How exactly, you can use lenses and all sorts of things, but that's how basically they work back in the day. How exactly does the camera work? I'm afraid that's a patented trade secret. Oh, I'm glad I explained it. Oh, but it is a mechanical device, yes. You point it at something and it clicks and whirs. Shoots a photograph. That's very basically, yes. It's a combination of silver nitrate chemistry, and the light hits the silver nitrate, and then when you put it into the developing fluid, the silver expands like a crystal growing in a liquid. The silver is silver coloured, and that's why the image is black and white, because it's black where you don't have silver nitrate, and where you've got light is where you've got silver nitrate looking silver, literally silver. Yes, that's quite a crass explanation. It is true that I point and click the camera, but that only creates a negative, a prototype of sorts. I then have to develop the photograph, and that takes time. How much time exactly? To do it, about half an hour. 4 days. No, it doesn't. This photograph is hot off the press, if you will. It's not 4 days, is it? You have to use a sort of a thing which is a projector that projects the image from the negative onto white paper. But it doesn't take, and the liquids, when you actually put it in the developing liquid, you're looking at about half an hour. Photograph is hot off the press, if you will. I suppose that does explain why the Baron hasn't received his photograph yet. Well, this is the photograph. He's brought it, hasn't he? Do you have another question? And we stole another one off him 2 days ago. Very confusing. Yeah, more stuff about the question. Can a camera ever make mistakes? Can a camera ever make mistakes? Yes. Now there's a question only an imbecilic, technophobic Philistine would could ask. No, monsieur. The camera is a flawless device. My photographs offer a perfect reflection of reality, nothing more, nothing less. The camera always lies. So if there was an inconsistency between a photograph and reality, what would that imply? An odd question. I don't think such a thing could ever be possible. But if you were to see such a thing, Falcon, stop dancing around the point and tell us what you're trying to get at. Are we going to go with this? We have to pull out the other photo if we do that. And that seems to be a bad idea if we pull out the other photo. But if we don't, then we're just walking away from the situation. And I think I think we're going to get shouted at for doing this, but if we don't do it, then we're not using the evidence that we've got. If we move on, can we come back? I don't think so. I think we've got to go with this and get shouted at. Okay. I see a mistake in the photograph. A mistake. Impossible. I just told you, monsieur, the camera is perfect. Unbiased device, the photographs it produces are flawless. As an artist, you would know already that cameras can do all sorts of weird things. There's a thing called dodging and smudging, where you can overexpose certain areas and underexpose certain areas, and you can change contrast and exposure levels. You can use different developing liquids. You can do loads of stuff. Even at this early stage. Falcon, I'm not seeing any mistakes. Perhaps you could be more specific. Certainly. Click on the area of the photograph you believe contains a mistake. Where's this guy? Oh, it's also this guy. The clock in this photograph. There's something not right about it. Well, isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence that implicates his client. Well, that's why we're doing it. Don't give me that cocky tone. Monsieur Robington, I have evidence that there's something wrong with the clock in that picture. The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6. That much is self-evident. However, which is most curious, because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Crilley has no hands. Boom, boom, boom. It has no hands. The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Roguil or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Robinho, how do you explain this discrepancy? I did some post photo editing. I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera is flawless. There's no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world. Maybe there was an error in the printing press. An error precisely where the clock's hand should be, please, monsieur. Don't patronise us. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation, or Occam's razor. You, Monsieur Robinho, edited the photograph. Dun, dun, dun. Edited? I'm no expert. I suspect you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. I would have copy and pasted some image. It would have been a simple task, considering that the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process. Implication post-fact. Very interesting. I. Falcon, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing? Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have taken place at precisely 7:30, it clears all the photograph subjects of suspicion. In other words, Monsieur Robinho created the perfect alibi. Dun, dun, dun. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is the witness protecting, and why? Was Monsieur Robinho coerced, bribed, threatened? Enough silence. Let's hear some answers, Monsieur Robinho. Fine, you got me. Wasn't for you pesky kids. I'm guilty. I did it all. You did it. You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Grenouille? What? No. I have no idea who killed the frog. I'm just admitting I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs, and yes, that included adding hands to the clock. You were ordered by whom? I dare not say. Monsieur Robinho, I strongly advise you to answer the defence's question. You have pledged to speak without fear after all. With respect, Judge, I fear his claws. More than I fear the punishment of the justice system. I shall name no names. His claws? Did you hear that, Falcon? That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Robinho, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. Hold on, 19th century France? Oh, yeah, well, I think that's a bit dubious. We don't live under the Ancien regime, after all. Well, but since you have admitted to falsifying evidence that we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness, take your leave. You should be charged with perjury in due course. I cannot protest. That's the least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day, monsieur. And he's off. We have gained a little favour with the jury. It's an exciting case. We've learned a lot today. Mostly about how weird this judicial system is. So the clock's hands were painted on. So what? It doesn't matter. Well, clearly it does. The photograph still depicts Dame Cateline as absent, close to the time of the murder. That's significant. It doesn't tell us the time of the murder, though, does it? We have no time of that photograph at all now. Don't be dense, Monsieur Remington. If the photograph is not completely genuine, then it cannot be considered reliable evidence. Indeed, so the whole thing's fraudulent. Why not? It's still a portrayal of the night's events, but is it? Do we know that it was done on the day, previously, later? Who knows? Because if we accept that one part of the picture was edited, then we must accept the possibility that other parts were too, including the timing. It's possible that Dame Cateline was painted out. Oh, that's a tricky thing to do. Even worse, it is possible that another person was painted in. Oh, see, now you're grasping. That's way too difficult. We know that the witness was trying to cover for someone, so all possibilities must be accounted for. So what are you saying, Falcon? That the housemaid paid off the photographer? Why are you saying the housemaid? Or was it Seigneur Portois Demieux, perhaps? That would make more sense. I don't think so. The housemaid lacks a means or motive, and it wouldn't make sense for Seigneur Portois to implicate his own daughter. Well, surely you're not suggesting that the honest and beloved Baron Roguil deliberately tried to frame Dame Cateline? Kind of looking that way, because that would be the most outlandish theory yet. The Baron is a pillar of the community. Oh, how many pillars of the community have turned out to be not so pillory? He would never do such a thing. Monsieur Remington, I'm not here to throw accusations. I'm not here to cast assertions or even cast nasturtiums. That's the job of you, the prosecutor. However, mayhaps I should offer my opinion. Roguil turned up. Dun, dun, dun. But man, it's not time for your witness testimony yet. So you would think, prosecutor, and yet I see my good reputation getting tarnished by your incompetence. I like this guy. Incompetence, yeah, you're not wrong. Indeed. Let us proceed with witness questioning. Is it that fine with you, Judge? Yeah, I suppose that's fine. People just randomly turning up and saying, yeah, I fancy chatting now. And the judge is like, yeah, cool. Tea? Very good. And I trust that the defence has no objections. No objections here. We don't object in France anyway. It's not how it works. Fantastic. But before I forget, I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., yabba-yabba ad infinitum. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Oh, okay, Baron Roguil, on the night of the initial dinner went magnificently. He's asking and answering his own questions. When the photographer arrived, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cateline followed behind him moments later. Seigneur Portois, Monsieur Robinho, and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer had left photographer had left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Grenouille and Dame Cateline. This housemaid, she gets everywhere. That would be when I heard her cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from there. I would like to cross-examine the witness. Do you doubt my integrity, garçon? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, we do. I'm just here to uncover the truth, Baron. Very well, then. Hit me with your best shot. Hit me with your best shot. Let us establish with absolute certainty that I, Baron Roguil, am an honest man. No one believes that for a second. That's why you're a baron. The defence may proceed with the cross-examination. Why are you here, dude? Why are you even here? Isn't there no fish you can go fish? All right. Cross-examination. Select a statement to question. Dinner, Monsieur Grenouille, garden, housemaid. Okay. Dinner went magnificently. When the photographer arrived, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cateline followed behind a few moments later. When the photographer arrived, the frog went to go into the garden. Dame Cateline followed later. Why? Housemaid discovered the pair. Are they in a relationship, the cat and the frog? Okay. Who knows in this story? Baron Roguil, I would like to ask about the dinner you served that evening. Very well, ask away. Okay, let's get the red herring out there. Now about this red herring. La-da-da. This is a red herring. C'est une pipe. About this red herring, yes. What about it? I'm not sure. I feel it's of vital importance. Falcon, I just want to clarify this. Are you saying that you wish to pursue the red herring? Yes, we are. No, I'm not an idiot. I know that a red herring is a joke, and it's a joke, but I still want to do it anyway. Do I want to do it? Yes. Yes, I wish to closely examine a question, a piece of evidence that is overtly labelled as a red herring. That is the type of bird I am. I see a trail that clearly veers away from my goal and follow it anyway. See, they're having a go at us now. Perhaps the path leads to better things. Perhaps it leads to failure. What matters is that my curiosity is satisfied. Exactly. You're a strange bird, Falcon. Jury confused, but I appreciate your honesty. Okay. So the red herring was, in fact, a red herring. Do you have another question about the dinner? Yes. The stolen cutlery. That thing. Earlier today, we established that silverware was stolen from your residence prior to the banquet. Indeed, I am aware of whom the culprit is, but I've decided not to press charges. It is curious then that you decided to serve steak. Which looks like a, what, T-bone? T-bone steak? It wasn't what one would describe as finger food, after all. For a genteel banquet, surely some vol au vents would have gone down well. I don't know about that, Falcon. With the right attitude, all food can be finger food, says Sparrowson. He's a Cockney chancer. There is nothing curious about it. Seigneur Poutois and Dame Cateline are vocal lovers of rare steak. Indeed, so they are cats. As such, cats are obligate carnivores and have to eat meat. I was merely suiting their needs. Besides, what other choice did a baron have, Falcon? So vegetable broth like a common peasant to cats? It's not going to go down well, is it? Do be quiet, prosecutor. Dude, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. You sound ridiculous. Sorry, Baron. Do you have another question about the dinner? Yeah? No. No. Let's choose a different topic. Select another statement. Monsieur Grenouille. Baron Roguil, I have some questions about Monsieur Roguil. God rest his soul. What was your relation to the guy prior to his demise? We were business partners, were you? Monsieur Grenouille, Seigneur Poutois, Dimio, and myself all owned a third share in an up-and-coming railway company. See? Now the reasoning becomes obvious. Excuse the crassness of the question, but that means that you and Seigneur Poutois would now own half of the company each, correct? Correct. I suppose that's a slight glimmer of benefit that arose from this foul situation. But monsieur, you must understand that Monsieur Grenouille and I were friends as much as we are business associates. I mourn the man's passing. Of course. But you wouldn't stab him in the back for tuppence halfpenny? No, of course you wouldn't. Do you have another question about Monsieur Grenouille? Yes, we do. Why did Monsieur Grenouille visit the garden? I believe he wanted some fresh air. The steak did not sit well with him. Frogs and steak? Okay, cool, fine. I see. That's quite coincidental timing, isn't it? Sort of. Well, Monsieur Grenouille felt sick, left the room just after the photographer had arrived and just before the murder occurred. One might draw a link between the food and the sickness. Hold on, Falcon. Surely you aren't suggesting that Monsieur Grenouille's food was poisoned in some way? No. I don't think we are. Are we? Red herring, steak? I don't think we are we? But do we say that because we might be chancing we might get told off by the jury, but we might pursue it? I'm not. I'm not. No, there's nothing to indicate poisoning. I just found the timing somewhat puzzling. Nothing puzzling about it. Always had a soft stomach, being a frog. It's really no surprise he couldn't keep down a good rare steak. Do you have another question? Man, I see, I'm worried that I went the wrong way then. Yes, what do we got? I think we've got to go back to... I am. The events are too closely tied to be mere coincidence. The steak. I'm no expert. I think the steak would have been a perfect medium to carry a small amount of poison. Wow, you are really grasping now, dude. My word, what a revelation. Well, what evidence do you have of this poisoning? Bearing in mind, of course, that the coroner found no signs of poisoning, no poison found at the scene, and the guy was cut open. Well, to be completely honest, there's no hard evidence. We can speculate. Jesus Christ. No, we can't. No. See? I knew that would happen. I knew I could see that coming a mile away. No need to bring outlandish theories like poisoning into the equation. That's what I thought. Was that a soft stomach? But we had to pursue it anyway. Let's have a look at the garden. Baron, we saw the murder scene in your garden for ourselves. What's with all the horses, dude? If I may ask, what's with all the horses? I beg your pardon. There are all these horse and cherub statues in the garden. To be frank, we found the whole thing a little weird. Could the defence please stop horsing around? This couldn't possibly have any relevance to the case. No, it doesn't. It might do. Horses, cherubs, murder. The links are all there. Oh my god. I object. Oh my god, we're getting in so much trouble. Oh yeah, it's not going well. Yes. When was the last time you visited it? When was the last time you ventured into your own garden? I have quite serious allergies. Haven't been into my garden for years. Years, you say? Indeed. That's not right, is it? Because you were smoking on the fountain. I do not wish to call you a liar, but that claim does not hold up to scrutiny. I think, what would we say? Fabrication? Something like that. Why is that? Because we have hard evidence that you visited the garden recently. Balderdash. My word is gold. Show the court this so-called hard evidence. I've been in my garden. This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin. Right beside where the murder occurred. A cigar butt, he says, a cigar butt. That could belong to anybody. Prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself. Okay, sorry, Baron. A man who has himself as a lawyer has a fool as a client. That is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars. But I must apologise, Monsieur Falcon, for I misunderstood your initial question. When you said, was I in the garden, I meant, was I on top of the fountain? You see, prior to the banquet, I hadn't visited my own garden in years, but naturally, after hearing the housemaid's cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked and disgusted by what I saw. That must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin, or in the top. You see, Falcon, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I would find that believable if the cigar was casually discarded. But as it happened, the cigar butt was found in the fountain's upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience and a little paddling, says Sparrowson. The cigar butt was not dropped. It was deliberately hidden. There are any number of possible explanations, are there? Because I can only think of one. And that is you, Baron Rogil, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities. Speculative. Did I now? And what illicit activities would these be? You want me to spell it out? Fine, I will. Let's put everything on the table. Let's do that. You, Baron Rogil, murdered Monsieur Grenouille. That is what you were trying to keep hidden. Directly accusing me of murder. How shameless. How brazen. This is a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order. That's never stopped anyone. Your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence, no means, motive, or opportunity. No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Robinson. I like that. Think harder. Every piece of evidence points to the Baron Rogil as the prime suspect. Do you want the means? The Baron certainly had the means. His lion claws are sharp as the surgeon's blade. Cutting a frog belly would be trivial to him. Even Monsieur Rubinho confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws. Ridiculous. I would never threaten a man with violence. He hasn't actually got claws. He's got human hands. You want a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 francs worth of motive. We've got 19 francs. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2. C'est preposterous. And finally the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests for murder. He was aware of the missing silverware, and yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer and staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Oh, the terror. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make for an easy editing is quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, are you just going to let this slanderous yarn go uncontested? Say something, object. It's not America, dude. Oh, you're pitifully useless. What do we got here? After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at the crime scene would raise suspicion. Why? Why would it? I mean, he's allowed to go in his own garden, isn't he? But he didn't have time to properly dispose of it, so out of desperation he threw it into the fountain out of sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Seigneur Potois Demieux, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Dame Cateline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. Yeah, it's an outrage. Judge, I demand that you disbar this ranting lunatic. Okay, disbarring. That's in the UK we have barristers, and they are called to the bar. That's why they're called barristers. And to disbar someone means they're not barristers anymore. But again, we're in France. He's not a barrister. He's an attorney. Oh, the complexities of this issue are so... Okay, no. There's only one outrage here. That is, a man like you yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder. The terror. You're a bourgeois of the worst kind, bourgeoisie. How dare you, Gaston? The utter nerve of a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself. Oh, they're the worst. Of something so heinous. It's nothing like the fat cat bourgeoisie. I'm a respectable, hard-working capitalist. That's right. No. You're a ruthless man who would slaughter a dear friend just to reap a few francs. Yeah, they're always doing that for francs. You incredulous whelp. I ought to gut you right here and now like you did, like that damn frog. And they was just, they say, oh yeah, it was me, fine. Everyone's like, could someone please restrain the Baron? I'm on it, Your Honour. Says this guy over here, Quark, Cockney Quark. Let's go, old man, to the conciergerie with you. Don't touch me, you filthy jackdaw. Oh, that's what it is. We call them magpies. I can walk myself. That's quite a turn of events. Does the prosecution have anything to add? Well, in a manner of speaking, well, to be honest, you're not going to get paid. No. Then I shall now confer with the members of the jury. Are you? To come to a decision. You're going to confer with the jury after he's confessed. Okay, yeah, okay. I ask that the animals of the court please be patient in this time. Falcon, that was pretty incredible. In the real meaning of the word incredible, as in not credible. Thank you. I just hope it was enough, says Falcon. It was certainly something. What do you mean? You just proved Cateline's innocence. We'll get a not guilty verdict for sure. What would happen? No contest? Lack of evidence? Yeah. Case dismissed, something like that. Sparrowson, I think you've misunderstood something important about the justice system. I've misunderstood a lot about this judicial system you've got. I haven't proved anything. As lawyers, we can't deal in proofs. It's just not possible. All we can do is organise the evidence and convincingly explain what it suggests. I haven't proved Dame Cateline's innocence. All I've done is demonstrate that there is a significant possibility that she is not guilty. Indeed so. Yeah, I'm not sure there is a difference. And we have the judge up here. We've reached a decision, have we now? In light of the recent revelations, it's clear that an error of judgment was made with the initial arrest, indeed. On that note, we unanimously find the defendant, Dame Cateline Demieux, to be not guilty. Da-da-da-da-da. Great success. Monsieur Falcon. Petit Sparrowson, you did it. There she is. Yeah, I suppose we did, didn't we? We should head back to the office so we can celebrate properly. You did it, Falcon. I can't take all the credit. That was a group achievement. So proud of you both. I'll go get a bottle of wine and 3 of at least dirty glasses. Nice. You were amazing, Monsieur Falcon. Oh, it was nothing. I very much like the way you pinned the murder on the Baron. That was an act of sheer genius. Oh, I'm worried about it now. Now I'm worried. Is this a setup by her all along? Oh, could be. You can never trust women. They can do the most devious things. Right. Well, I didn't pin anything. Sparrowson and I just worked at unveiling the truth given the facts of the case. Monsieur Falcon, there's no need to play coy. The case is over. Yeah, I'm suspicious. Don't tell me you're actually being sincere. From the Italian word lack of wax. I'm completely lost, says Falcon. Oh, wow. I thought the goody-goody thing was an act, but you actually don't know. All right, I'll spell it out for you. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Well, okay, so now we actually find out what actually was... I murdered Monsieur Grommy. See? Told you. See? I saw him in the garden, all drunk and vulnerable, and I seized my opportunity. It was nothing personal, just business, you understand. Yeah. I had girlfriends like this. Business, says Falcon. To increase my papa's share in the train company, of course. My papa always said that the drunk old frog was the weakest link. Your confession doesn't make any sense at all. I found Baron Rogil's cigar butt hidden in the garden. Oh, I put that there, says Dame Cateline. I expected the police to find it, but I suppose that was putting too much faith in the brains of Paris's finest. But Falcon proved that Monsieur Robinier's photograph was edited. It was edited. I wasn't in the picture because I was busy paying a visit to Monsieur Grenouille in the garden with my claws of death. My papa knew I needed an alibi, so he ordered Monsieur Robinier to paint me over Baron Rogil and to add hands to the clock. That doesn't make any sense. You say you saw the frog in the garden and you took an opportunity to kill him, but... your father had organised an artist to turn up and take a photo to give you an alibi at that right time. Well, which is it? Either you're taking an opportunity or you've planned something together. Very strange. But that lazy artist didn't manage to finish altering either photograph by trial day. It's a good thing that Monsieur Falcon was so imaginative, because that could have gone very badly. What's with the silence? You should both be proud. There aren't many lawyers in the whole of France who could have won a case like this, even for a bourgeois kitty like me. They keep going on about bourgeois a lot. I don't like the bourgeoisie. I think you should leave. You should watch her. She's going to stab you up. Fine. So much for the celebrations. Here's the payment for your services, straight from my papa's pockets. Here's the blood money. Well, adieu, Monsieur Falcon. Adieu, Petit Sparrowson. I will see you very soon. Falcon, what do we do now? You watch out for her. Falcon? I don't know. Well, there we go. End of Act 1. What have we achieved? We've achieved a travesty of justice. Congratulations to ourselves. And welcome to the world of law. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more Avian Attorney. Lawyer in Paris.